So this is what I've been doing the last couple weeks. So this is the bottom 40, or bottom half of the property. I planted these sawtooth oaks 2 years ago on the 4-wheeler. I hope it's not making too much noise. Most of them are pretty small. That's probably average right there. I'm going to say it's 28 inches or so. I do have some smaller ones. That's probably 14 maybe. But I've got some pretty good sized ones too. That one right there is probably close to 6 foot. There's a dead chestnut, bless its heart. There's its sister, bless her heart. But I've got sawtooth oaks back in there. I just cleared that. I'm gonna go over that with the rock rake here in the next couple of days and plant clover in there. So there is that. That's a red oak, and I've kind of trimmed it up where I can walk under it and drive my tractor under it. There's my neighbor's house. What's up, neighbors? Anyway, these are all sawtooth oaks here. Something ate that one. I didn't think anything did that, but that tree was actually as tall as that piece of rebar there. I came back the next day and most of the tree is gone. It'll probably live. Some of them are getting kind of top heavy, and so I've tied them up. They're still wanting to hang down. I'm guessing I'm going to have to get some taller rebar. Anyway, cut all these trees down here. There's a mulberry tree up there that we planted. It's doing pretty good. It's probably close to 3 foot tall now. Cut all these pines at the end down there. We've got clover in this little patch. There's the deer lease. They clear cut that deer lease last fall, and I cut down the trees between me and the lease just to give my other trees more sunlight. I may plant a pear tree or something like that in there, maybe a fig. Anyway, there's where I just came from. There's my deer stand that was in probably a video last year before last. I painted it. I added some walls to it. That's just camo material walls. Anyway, here's a couple chestnuts that I planted last spring. There's one. I think they were 2.5 foot tall. That's a 5 foot tube, so it's probably 4.5 foot tall right now. And those are sleeping giant chestnuts. I've got a few hazelnuts over on this side. They're still pretty small. You can't see them. Oh, yeah, there's one right there. I got 3 over there. Anyhow, there's a fig that may have frozen off last winter. I'm going to give it a couple more weeks, and honestly, I don't see any signs of life in it, so I may have to bite the bullet and dig that one up and maybe plant another fig tree. Fig trees are apparently really super easy to grow, except for if you're me. They're impossible because I've killed at least 2 or 3 every year. Here's another of the sleeping giants, and that one actually got eaten down to probably about 14 inches last spring, and it's grown up to where it's probably close to 4 foot tall. So over here is where the deer lease is, and where I said I had no visibility at all. There's, with the little orange tag on it, is another hazelnut, and there's a 5th hazelnut down there. That tag is a pawpaw, and I've got a couple more pawpaws over here, and I've actually got 25 more pawpaws coming, hopefully by the end of the week. And I'm going to take my weed eater and clear this out. I've got a weed eater with a brush blade on it. I'm going to cut all this stuff out, maybe cut down that little triple elm right there just to give some extra space. But I'm going to leave this shaded for a couple of years until the pawpaws get pretty big, and then I'm going to cut down pretty much everything over to the property line. Generally speaking, after they clear cut land, they will cut a fire lane at the property line, which means all this brush on the other side of the property line from me, they will likely cut all that out, and so this will be completely cleared off here. And this is a known deer corridor, so my stand there ought to be pretty good. So we're going to walk up the stand and take a look and see what we're looking like now, and I hope that you could hear all that. So here's my stand. Somebody said it stuck out like a sore thumb. I don't remember who, so I painted that. I'll probably get another couple colors and put some more stripes on there just to give it a little bit more depth. But I guess that's better than it was before. So there's my camo netting. I think I've got a video with this camo netting on here already, but I figured, figured I would climb up here and show you what it looks like now. Oh, fat guy. Oh, actually that is a lot less than it was since it's greened up. I could see about 40 or 50 yards. But right here, they'll probably cut out that stuff in there, which is where they'll put their fire lane. Anyhow, that elm right there is coming out. I'm probably going to climb up and use a pole saw and cut that limb out, those limbs. That pine down there, that one right there, I really don't want to cut that. I think I want to leave that just to give myself a little cover here. Anyhow, so that's the same little spot that I put up a couple of years ago. My plan is to put 5 pawpaws down, where's my hand, down there in that little clearing, and I'm going to cut that out. And I'm probably going to put 5 or 10, maybe even more down here, because as I've walked through there, it actually clears out pretty decent. And so my plan is to kind of let them grow until they're maybe 4 or 5, 6 feet tall, and probably leave most of the pines, but cut out all the elms. And I've got elms and some maples and just some brush and stuff like that I can clear out here. And back here, I'm going to leave it because I know deer travel through this. So leave probably a 15-yard wide spot where it's just trashy and brushy, and give the deer something that they can travel through a little more comfortably. And then over here, clear this out a little bit where the pawpaws will fruit a little bit better. There's my trusty little 4-wheeler. Bought that off eBay. Actually bought it brand new off eBay for about, I want to say about $1,200–1,300 less than the MSRP. So anyway, when I cut out these limbs, I'll have a pretty darn easy shot between here and my chestnuts. So I'm gonna go ahead and climb down. Hey, I can pause. I didn't know I could pause. Let's see how that works. So my Millie dog, oh no, that's Duggar. Duggar's my male dog. He is the son of Millie, and apparently he decided he wanted to take a bath down here. We've had pretty good rain fairly frequently. This is April 20 something. I don't know really. Wow, I don't know what day it is. Yeah, I'm a teacher, and we've been on lockdown since March 12th. And honestly, if it weren't for church, I would lose track of what day it is. So how often, yeah, me and my wife are arguing all the time about what day it is. So anyhow, that's the nature of the world right now. All right, so up the hill. This has changed a whole lot. It's pretty steep here. That's right. I see a little squirrely going through that crate. All right. Oh. All right. I'm going pretty steep here. All there, I've got one of my sawtooth oaks. It didn't have any leaves on it when I planted the other trees. And I didn't realize it was sawtooth, or I wouldn't have planted that beside it. And that's a mulberry tree. Here in Arkansas zone 7-8 or 7B 8A, we're actually right on the line. Mulberries are supposed to fruit out, I think, from April through late June, early July, I think. So I'm hoping that'll bring deer in close to the house and turkeys and things like that. About probably 6 or maybe even 10 years ago, I was hunting out here and I had a bunch of quail come by. So maybe that'll get the quail a little closer to the house. Right there, you can barely see it. Another sawtooth oak. It's starting to rain on me, and my dogs are barking at a buzzard. Yeah, labs are smart, aren't they? So there's a what is that? That's a persimmon tree right there, a little bitty one. Got them from the Missouri Forest Service. By the way, great place to get trees. So I bought these. I bought 4 more chestnut trees up closer to the house. 1, 2, with the tree tubes. Didn't have the tree tubes before. Bought these, gosh, mid-March. Got them in the ground probably around April 1st. It's kind of a weird deal. The guy who grows these, his name is Steve Lucas, an Oklahoma chestnut farmer. If you're looking for chestnuts, I highly recommend Steve. Very nice guy, very, very helpful, very honest. He'll tell you if you're getting, the first time I talked to him, I kind of didn't like him because he told me that all the chestnuts that I'd already bought would probably die. And I was like, this guy's just trying to peddle his own stuff. But he was right. All the chestnuts that I had died because the nursery that I bought them from was inherently non-blight resistant. And but I bought a bunch of them because they were cheap. And the first time you do something it's the first time you do something. I'm not going to tell the company because that company was very nice. They were very, very helpful, very knowledgeable. But they weren't blight resistant, and not most of them. More than half of them have died already, but it's only been 3 years. So I'm probably just going to buy a whole bunch more from Steve. That tree right there, when I planted it, was probably right at 4 foot, and now it's sticking out the tube. And that was right at 1st of April, and we're at the end of April, so it's grown almost a foot in a month. So I'm in neutral. Anyway, there's the second one right there, and let's see, and another mulberry tree right there. Another sawtooth oak. I got another sawtooth. No, I didn't plant that. Another sawtooth oak. And this right here was pretty brushy. There's a tree that I cut down. A bunch of trees that I cut down with an axe because my chainsaw wasn't working, and I thought I was in good enough shape to do that, and now both my shoulders are killing me. So when you're 51 years old and you think you're in good enough shape to cut a bunch of trees down with an axe, buy a chainsaw. Anyway, there's another one it was the second shortest one, and actually the tallest one I put down at the bottom of the hill, and there's the second tallest, and it's already sticking out the top of the tube. So it was less than 4 feet tall, less than 4 foot tall, and it's now sticking out the top of the tube, so it's over 5 foot. This one right here, sorry, I need to remember not to move this thing fast. It's another sawtooth oak, and down there I've got more persimmon trees. Let's back up and take a look at those. So that's my persimmon tree. I got these from the Missouri Forest Service, I think. Anyway, really, really good people to work with. Trees were cheap. I got 75 trees for $55. I got 25 persimmons, 25 mulberry trees. Oops, where's the tree? 25 persimmons, 25 mulberry trees, and 25 pawpaws for $55, including the shipping. I think I want to say they were like 36 cents each, and then the shipping was so $33, so shipping was $22. But well worth it for the trees and the quality. 75 trees I planted. I think probably 70 of them have leaves on them. This one right here, the guy who brought him to my house left him in his car, and I think he may have actually shut the door on this one because it was chopped down to about 3 feet, and no leaves on it at all. The rest of them were really in good shape. So I'm pretty sure he oops that one. I'm not going to pin that one on Steve because it had obvious damage to it when it got here, and my intern brought it to me, and he's like 21, 22 years old. He's a really good kid. He just, you know what happens when you're a really good kid and you're doing something for your boss, and not a big deal, nothing to be butthurt about. All right, let's see if I can get over this tree. Oh, there we go. All right, there's my last chestnut. And I'm going to get off and show you how this thing works. If I can lock down. There you go. All right, so this one was right at 4 foot, and I think it had 1 or 2 leaves on it when I planted it. It didn't look great. That one down there was by far the worst looking one. Anyway, this one just had a couple leaves on it. And I think I think he may have damaged this one too, to be honest. But this tree tube, show you how it actually comes in like just a rolled up flat thing, and you wrap it around, you add the zip ties to it right there, and these are actually adjustable zip ties, and you drive a piece of rebar or T-post, or if you got some sort of wood post you could drive it in. I would recommend at least a 5-footer or a 6-footer. These were 6 foot, and you can see I've driven them in the ground probably not quite 2 feet into the ground, just to give this whole thing some rigidity. That way in high winds it won't fall down, or if a deer, which right now, well, you can see the clear cut. I used to have deer coming through here a lot, but right now I don't. And I suspect probably for the next couple of years I won't. I'm on a deer lease about 25 minutes from here, and we've got the same situation on most of our lease. Unfortunately, we've got 4,000 acre lease, and they probably clear cut probably 2,000, 2,500 acres of it, and the deer traffic has dropped dramatically. We know that happens. Those leases are owned by the timber company, and that's just the nature of the beast. So that right there, let's see where I'm at. That is about due east. So right now the sun's still in the south. I get some shade off of these trees right here onto that chestnut. I get some shade off of that tree right there onto that one. So I'm seriously contemplating taking a bunch more of these trees out. Maybe those 3 down there. This oak tree, and I'd actually like you to comment on this oak tree. So this oak tree right here, when I moved to this property, and we've owned this lot for about I think about 10 or 11 years. This tree right here, they had cut this in timber. These trees were probably, I don't know, 15, 18 feet tall when we moved here, and I'm guessing that one's probably 30. We got some probably closer to 40. Anyway, this oak tree right here, I guess when they clear cut last time, they just butchered this thing. It didn't have a top in it at all, and actually where you see it's thickest up there, right, and where's my finger? Oh, where's the camera? Oh, there we go. Right there, that was the top of the tree, and there were no limbs on it. And I fertilized it, and I mulched it a little bit, and I watered it for a couple of years, and it's kind of come back. I don't think I've ever gotten any acorns off of it, but it is a big, pretty, well, it's actually pretty ugly, big white oak. And do you think it'll ever get acorns on it? It hasn't in the last 10 years, and if it's not going to, I'd rather cut it off so I can get more sunlight for that chestnut right there. Again, trees that these I cut down right after my chainsaw came back from the shop, but all these little ones I cut down with an axe, and I think I'm just going to leave them lay here and let them rot, just to go back into the soil. There's another one of my persimmon trees doing really well, and I've got I think up here I've got about 6 or 7 more persimmons. All of them have leaved out. I'm really pleased with those. And again, I got those from Missouri Forest Service. And so my plan eventually is probably kind of knock some limbs out of that and put another stand here to bow hunt out of, because the highest chestnut is about 5 yards from that tree, and that's probably 10 yards and probably 20 yards, and I think I figured that one down there was 30 yards, which are all pretty good bow ranges. And these chestnuts should be dropping right in the middle of bow season. So anyhow, that's what I've done since my last video. I think I did a bunch of dirt work with my tractor. I'm fixing to finish up that road that I was working on. But the bottom down there I've brush hogged and I've cleared out. I think I may go over it with my rock rake and plant some clover down here in the next couple of weeks. Well, pretty long video. Hope you made it through it. Shoot me a thumbs up if you liked it. Bye-bye.